Hello, 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 and welcome. Welcome to Tuning In North, tuning in Manchester. It's lovely to see you all. Thanks for coming along. Nice to be in person again. And of course, you know, for me, I always love coming back here. My family hails from Bolton. They would not say they were from Greater Manchester. They disavow the 1972 local government reforms. They were Lancastrians. But, you know, Manchester was somewhere I came to a lot as a kid. The music venues, shopping in Affleck's Palace, and of course the regular lure of Old Trafford, the one where everyone plays in white before I step into local controversy. Manchester is one of the greatest places to be to talk about the creative sector, not just because of its contribution to the UK, but because of its contribution to the world. We've got a really packed agenda today. The agenda here, I won't go through it, it's also on your lanyards, so you can have a look at what's coming up. But we have some really interesting speakers, and we're going to go through quite a number of topics, and so quite a rapid pace as well, so hold on to your hats for this one. There are 156,000 people working in creative industries in the Northwest. This is a hub of creativity, as I say, not just for the UK, for the world. It's the biggest creative cluster outside of London. It has 19,000 creative digital and tech businesses in Greater Manchester alone. It's an extraordinary place. It's an extraordinary history. Though we recognise the difficult struggle the sector's had over the past couple of years, the creative sector, particularly live, I know this region will continue to thrive. But let me focus down on radio. And nationally, the British love of radio and this medium endures. Nearly 90% of people tune into radio every week, and on average they're listening to over 20 hours of live radio a week. It's vastly more than any other form of audio listening, and we'll go a deeper dive into this later on, but the second is on-demand music, and that's only 35% reach. So that's the differential we're talking about. This is something that people come to every day and is with them throughout the day. And commercial radio listening itself is at a record levels of listening. Here in the Northwest, over 2/3 of over 15s listen to commercial radio every week. That's commercial radio, not radio. The previous figure was for all radio. And 40% of those listeners only listen to commercial radio. That's an amazing audience for our entertainment, for advertisers, for connecting with people, to reaching people. And we know the pandemic has brought people to radio for longer, and commercial radio hours listened to has increased since 2019 by over 8% actually in Manchester. With more people working from home, they get to choose what they listen to. And when they choose radio. Radio connects with people, it tells stories, it also entertains them, lifts them, gives them pleasure, and it's also that constant companion in the background. The song you'd forgotten about, the debate that gets you kind of riled up. Radio is something for everyone, and that's why it still dominates audio. It's the most trusted news source amongst audience groups, and for many it's their only source of news. And the historical growth of commercial radio and the creative talent of Manchester and the region means this city and this region still act as a programming hub. Significant parts of the Radiocentre family are housed here in Manchester, broadcasting not just locally but also nationally. And the way that commercial radio combines local and national for broadcasting means too that our local news gathering can also become national. So as the Bury MP Christian Wakeford defected from the Conservative Party to Labour, local commercial radio news ran the main evening bulletin from outside his office in Bury, throwing to the Westminster Reporter in London to round up for the listener exactly what had happened and why. And it works the other way. So when in Storm Franklin, the River Mersey, just down the road here in Disbury, almost burst its banks, the local stations could break out of the network and run updates on air for Manchester listeners until we knew levels had peaked. So there's just an incredible sort of way now that which the local can become national. And this success of radio, the undeniable gravitational pull of the medium, means that 21 was a record year for us for ad revenue. Record reach, record ad revenues, and the rise of digital smart speakers, online listening, 5G, listening on the go means radio is with you everywhere throughout your day. One of our main efforts this year has been to talk to local firms about how radio advertising can help them, and Backing Brilliant Business has used the experience of those new to the medium to explain their great experience of it as well. We're very excited today to announce a brand new audio series called Backing Brilliant Business with Saira Khan. Saira will be bringing her entrepreneurial viewpoint to the sector, to this series for SMEs, marketers, business enthusiasts. And each episode will have a different guest. We'll bring 3 main experiences from their career, what they believe will help entrepreneurial listeners be better at whatever it is they do. We've released the first 2 episodes today, featuring Dragon's Den businessman Theo and behavioural scientist Dr. Grace Lorden, with new episodes released weekly. It's been made with the brilliant Manchester-based Audio Always, and I know Paul and Cal from the team are here with us today. So thank you very much for your work on this, and we'll just run a little bit of a trail.
Hi, I'm Saira Khan. I'm proud to be part of the UK's business community, which is why I'm delighted to be hosting the Radiocentre podcast, Backing Brilliant Business. Each week, I'll be talking to some of the biggest names in business, asking them about the challenges they faced and how they overcame them, plus providing guidance, insight, and inspiration to help you utilise the power of radio to grow your business. Listen now. Just search Backing Brilliant Business wherever you get your podcasts.
The only thing that's had a better year than radio is the QR code, and so if you want to hear that, scan the code and you can subscribe to the series. We've always remained busy on the policy side of our responsibilities, and this is a bumper year for government initiatives in radio. Coming back on the Digital Radio and Audio Review that was published in October, the government, we hope, will be bringing forward a comprehensive package of measures to consolidate regulatory reform, ensure radio is easily accessible, in the car in particular, future-proofing legislation so radio is prominent on smart speakers and digital platforms, with listeners able to access the content they love, and to ensure that platforms themselves do not interfere with the broadcasts or their own advertising or make it difficult to access or unfairly compete. We do also hope to work with DCMS on the future of the Audio Content Fund, which comes to an end in its current form, but we hope will continue in some shape for the future. And we launched today an initiative to try and pull people together to come to an answer for that, because it's a great little way of ensuring that stations can run important content and get production money for that content. We think it's very helpful from a public purpose point of view, and we do hope that there's some way of continuing it. We also continue to ask the government to think properly about the best way for consumers to be alerted to their rights and to terms and conditions. We, part of our business is clearing of ads. We care very deeply about the consumer, but of course we have a commercial interest as well in making sure that the advertising landscape works. We work with the Financial Conduct Authority on guidelines, but really we want to think about a better way of doing this. Something that will improve trust and consumer awareness and lead to a better listening experience. We've got an amazing ability to connect and to build trust, and because of that, we're also focused on what radio can do to help. And one, of course, of the most serious issues is the current terrible situation in Ukraine. We know that it requires support, and we've helped in the small way we can. An advert was supplied by the Disasters Emergency Committee, and our members stepped up immediately. And the next day, we're already running it. We have had 11,500 advertising spots over the 2 weeks of the campaign. And so thank you to those of you that helped in that. There's, of course, much more to be done, but we continue to help where we can. On a happier note to finish, an inspired and talented, diverse future talent pool is really vital to a thriving future radio industry. And that's why we set up the Young Radio Awards. The ceremony took place last week, and it recognised the best in young audio talent. The winners get prizes that help them to take their next step into a career, including a show on national station, mentorship and recording equipment, and hosted by Jordan North and Vic Hope, with some of the audio's biggest names joining them to celebrate. Here's a look at the event. As you see, an amazing lineup, including, of course, our very own George Butler there. But here's a look at reaction of Hindlip and Tiverton School when they found out they won the prize for achievement within the community. And hopefully...
And the Young Audio Award goes to... It's TH Radio in the community.
So we ran it as an online event, obviously given the difficulties at the moment, but we had listening parties, viewing parties, should I say, all around the country, over 1,000 kind of households and schools, and it was a really good event, and we were really pleased with how it went. Hopefully next year, live and in person.